Hello, what's up everyone, hope you're all doing well. So as usual we are going to begin by hiding our eyebrows. So I'm using a glue stick for this and you want to get them as flat and as smooth as possible. I'm taking an eyebrow pencil and I'm just going to sketch out the basic shape of the skull. Moving on, so I'm grabbing some white face paint. I'm using the Bennye and it's a water-based paint, and you're just going to start by painting the first half. I'm not worrying about details too much at this point, I'm just getting the base layer down. And then do exactly the same on the other half but with a red. As you can see, I've left some of the shapes visible, like the jawline and the cheekbones. This is just going to help guide me in the next few steps. Taking an eyeliner or a face paint, I'm just outlining the basic shapes, and I'm also starting to form the shape of the teeth. For the red side, I'm just applying some white face paint onto the teeth. I'm just going onto the white side and I'm just priming my eye with the NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk. Grabbing some red face paint and a paintbrush. I'm using a paintbrush with a flat head, I feel like this is much easier. I'm just creating a brow, and I'm starting the brow where my natural brow begins, but I'm arching it quite high so it looks a little bit angry, almost. Then taking another wet paintbrush, I'm just going to kind of feather the eyebrow to make it look like an ombre red to a white, and I'm creating kind of like a furry texture, making it a little bit more natural. Then you want to do the same with the other side, but instead with black. Taking some eyeshadow, I'm using a red. I will list all the products in the description box below, by the way, so you can check out exactly what I used. I'm just going to begin to add some red on the white side of my face on my eye. I'm starting to introduce some black eyeshadow, and this is going to create some depth. And now I'm applying some eyeshadow to where my nose joins onto my brow. This is going to start to form the shape of the eye socket. I'm also starting to apply this underneath my eye, and I'm using a mixture of the red and the black. I'm also applying this to where my eyebrow begins, and I'm taking this up vertically onto my forehead, and this is going to create an angry looking skull. For my eyelid, I'm just going in with some white face paint, and I'm really starting to cut and define the shape. Taking either an eyeliner or a black face paint, I'm now creating a wing, and I'm also creating a wing on the inner corner of my eye as well. Moving on to the red side, you want to repeat the same steps but with black. So I'd say use finer and smaller detailed brush for the more intense areas, and some more wider brushes with less product for the more diffused areas. You want to take your time and really build this up slowly, use a small amount of product each time you apply, and use small circular motions to achieve a nice soft blend. Now taking some black, I'm just applying this to my forehead area. For the jawline, I'm just going to paint these curves, and this is going to define the shape of the skull. And then for the cheekbones, I'm also outlining it a bit heavier. I know this tutorial is all over the place, I do apologise, I just like to work in the most random orders, but we will get there. And then I'm taking some red eyeshadow, and for the white side, I'm starting to create some shade coming from my teeth. So ideally, you want to grab a fine brush, and you want to apply some vertical lines that are coming from in between each tooth. Then apply this onto the forehead area as well, like you did on the red side, and then basically just keep doing this and start to join everything all up together. Once you're happy with the red base shades, I'm then going in with some black, and I'm kind of doing the same thing again, but this time I'm just using a lot less product, and I'm applying this onto the more finer areas where the shadow would hit. Be careful with black, don't apply too much of this because you can easily overdo this. And the black is really going to sort of transform the entire look, and it's going to give it a lot more of a realistic and 3D feel. Then you want to do the same thing with the cheekbone area as well. So you want to have more of an intense black as it goes towards the line, and it wants to sort of diffuse softly as it goes away from the line. And of course do exactly the same on the other side. I'm going in with some white, and I'm extending the teeth so they go quite high onto my face. Moving on to the neck and chest, so kind of similar to what we did at the beginning, we just want to apply the half red and white. Try and get the centre line as straight as you possibly can. I'm missing out the central areas because this is going to help me in the next few steps. Now I'm taking some white and I'm just going to start creating the shapes of some bones. So this is just really vague and randomized. I'm just kind of creating rib-like shapes, which is just basically really simple curvy lines. And I'm also creating kind of like skulls and making kind of like almost bodies piled upon each other. You want to do this on both sides, and I'm also now taking a deep red and I'm going to start outlining the shapes that I just created. For the fire, I'm grabbing some SFX cream colours this time, and I'm using my fingers to apply this. And the reason why I'm using an oil-based paint is because it's really nice to create texture and blend the way I want it. So using my fingers is the perfect tool, and I'm just kind of dabbing and swiping around. I'm using a mixture of yellow and red, and I'm kind of blending it while it's on the surface. I'm blending the colours slightly, but not too much, because I wanted to show the contrast between the red and the yellow. So just bouncing backwards and forwards, I'm just going in with the fiery colours, and then I'm going back in with a small brush and a dark deep red, and I'm applying more lines around the bones. And you want to keep playing around and experimenting, see what works and what doesn't until you get the desired look. So for the defined shapes, I'm kind of creating the lines so that they're much more intense as it goes towards the centre, and that it diffuses outwards as it goes away. So I already did this on the white side, but on the red side I'm just creating kind of like a bat wing. I'm only doing this so it's not the most noticeable or the centre of tension, and it's just kind of lurking in the background. Moving back onto the face, I'm just basically putting some final touch-ups. So I'm just adding some highlight above my brow, and then I'm going in and filling in the nose that I created. So it's just very simple, I'm just going to fill it in black. I'm creating other highlights here and there, and then moving on, I'm going to be sticking the horns on. So I'm just rubbing out the areas where I want the horns to be, and I'm using some liquid latex to apply this. I've applied some tissue around the edges of the base of the horns as well. This is just going to really help secure it in place. Finally, I'm taking a very fine brush and a very small amount of product, and I'm creating veins or thunder in random areas. Paint around the edges of the horns to tidy them up, and that's it. We show up in the party. Thank you for watching my video all the way through, I really do appreciate it. If you'd like to see much more of this kind of content, then please hit the subscribe button, and also follow me on Instagram at gothspectrum. Thank you so much once again, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys!